My brother's laughter echoed through our parents' living room, scattering my business cards everywhere. The floor is made of hardwood. Really, Elizabeth, consultant for strategic innovation? Give up acting like someone you're not. I saw James, my 2-year-older brother, smudge the embossed lettering I had spent more for on one of my carts with his pricey leather shoe. He was the pinnacle of what our family regarded as success at the age of 32. He was a recently recruited executive at Meridian Technologies, one of Seattle's fastest-growing tech firms. James, those cards cost money, I said as I bent to gather the shattered remnants of my professional identification. He grinned and adjusted his Rolex, saying, "You can't afford to waste money." This was a present from our parents to celebrate his new career. Little sister, you have to face it. The term consulting simply means unemployed. Our mother carried in a platter of appetizers for James' celebratory supper. Elizabeth, my love, do you still work as a freelancer? Your father may call, you know. Obtain a more stable item for you. I straightened up and put the cards I had saved in the pocket of my blazer. They would never realize the jacket wasn't from the clearance section of last season, but it was an Armani. They still saw me as the family's disappointment, the person who had abandoned a legitimate job to launch her own company. I replied, "I'm doing fine, Mom," recalling the conference I had just left. The one in which I executed the last agreements to purchase Meridian Technologies via Aurora Ventures, my holding company. James interrupted, settling into our father's leather recliner, saying, "Fine isn't the same as successful. I will be changing Meridian while you consult. You know, they're fortunate to have me." The company essentially pleaded with me to leave. I forced a smile, knowing that the CEO had already received discreet notification of the impending management changes. James was unaware that his ideal work was going to undergo a significant transformation. "When does your position start?" I knew the answer when I asked. "Day," he said with a smile as he produced his own business cards, which were thick, glossy documents with the executive vice president encrusted in gold. "Unlike some people, I have a real title at a real company." With a proud smile, our father strode in. "I just got off the phone at the country club with George, son. Everyone is discussing your new role. Finally, Harrison is responsible for producing business headlines." The following week, when Aurora Ventures announced its ownership of Meridian, I contemplated the headlines that would surface. The business community in Seattle, which is renowned for its aggressive acquisitions and creative management techniques, had been talking about the enigmatic holding company. Nobody was aware that the youngest Harrison was secretly creating an empire behind the corporate shield as her family made fun of her professional decisions. James used air quotes around the word business when he said that Elizabeth had just shown us her business cards. Dad looked at the rumpled card lying on the ground. "Consulting. It's been 3 years, honey. Perhaps it's time to acknowledge that this stage of entrepreneurship isn't working out." 3 years. They believed I was making ends meet through freelancing, but I would use my grandmother's inheritance, a few $1,000,000, to build a holding company with a value of over $300 million. Currently, Aurora Ventures has investments in 12 digital startups. Aurora Ventures discreetly and carefully makes every purchase. "Actually," I said when I picked up my luggage. "Tomorrow, I have a few meetings. There will be significant changes soon." "Modifications?" Mom became alert. "Are you at last contemplating getting a real job?" "That kind of thing." As I remembered the email I had gotten during dinner, I grinned. This refers to the document that confirms Aurora Ventures currently holds 67% of Meridian Technologies stock. I won't be making any introductions at Meridian, though. As I made my way to the door, James called. "We have expectations." I stopped and turned around. "James, don't worry. I predict that we will meet each other frequently in the near future. I will be driving my automobile, a purposefully understated Audi that does not draw attention." I reviewed my texts. My assistant had verified that everything was ready for the unveiling on Monday. After formally approving the transaction at a board meeting at 9 a.m., Meridian's new owner would be introduced at a company-wide meeting. James would learn at that same meeting that his younger sister was not just prosperous but also his boss. My mother texted me, and my phone chimed. James left a few of his business connections here, honey. Do you want me to keep these for you? It could be useful. I was thinking about the pile of NDAs on my desk at Aurora Ventures when I turned on my automobile. On Monday, all Meridian executives, including their most recent EVP, would have to sign them. Thank you, Mom. I returned the type. I have every contact I require. I'm excited about our 10 o'clock meeting. Avoid being late. He responded right away. I apologize, sis. Solely in executive meetings. Next time, perhaps. I straightened my jacket before getting out of the Bentley. The security officers became alert. They had received information regarding their company's true owner. The receptionist leaped to her feet. Miss Harrison, welcome. Wherever you are, the board is prepared. It's time to demonstrate to my family what true success looks like. I was backstage in Meridian's main auditorium at precisely 9:55 a.m., listening to the animated conversation of 500 staff members. Through the curtain, I could see James and our parents occupying the front row. Already, his new assistant was rushing back and forth with schedule updates and coffee. Kate handed me the most recent report and murmured, "Everyone is in position. The members of the board are sitting. The press is prepared." She also grinned. Your brother recently announced his idea for transformative leadership in an email sent to the entire organization. I looked at my phone, which was glowing with James' email. I pledge to transform Meridian Technologies as your next executive vice president. Change begins now. He didn't realize how correct he was. The CEO of Meridian, Gerald Porter, came over with a pitying expression. Miss Harrison, 3 more managers have already been asked to resign by your brother. He is threatening to completely reorganize departments. Gerald, don't be concerned. I reassured him. Although the reform will take place, it will not occur in the way he had envisioned. It was precisely 10 a.m. when Gerald took the stage. James's loud murmur to our parents was the only sound in the auditorium. Watch this. Porter is very likely going to reveal my first significant project. Gerald started off by saying, "Good morning, Meridian Technologies. As you are aware, there have been major changes to our company lately. I have the privilege of introducing Aurora Ventures owner and new majority shareholder today, who will guide us into the future." James leaned forward as I watched, most likely anticipating the arrival of a wealthy businessman. Please welcome Elizabeth Harrison, our newest owner, and Sue. There was complete quiet when I entered the stage. James' coffee mug in the front row broke on the floor after slipping out of his hands. A hand shot to our mother's throat. In a matter of seconds, Dad's face turned from red to white. Gerald, thank you. I positioned myself at the podium. I'm the CEO and founder of Aurora Ventures, in case you didn't know. We owned 67% of Meridian Technologies last week. Whispers broke out among the audience. In order to capture the event, phones were everywhere. James appeared to have lost his ability to breathe in the front row. It's possible that some of you got an email this morning regarding transformative leadership. I kept taking pleasure in James's gradual descent in his chair. That change starts now, albeit it might not go as some had anticipated. I selected the opening slide of my presentation, which displayed the portfolio of prosperous tech businesses owned by Aurora Ventures. Meridian will update its infrastructure, increase its market presence, and, most importantly, get rid of antiquated management systems that put titles above people under our direction. Our father got to his feet, his voice trembling. See you here. Security, please escort any non-employees from the auditorium, I said quietly. We're talking about private business issues. James leaped to his feet as security drew near. This scenario is not possible. I serve as the executive vice president. In reality, I clicked to view the revised organizational structure on the following screen. However, we have restructured the organization and eliminated that position. A junior analyst is reportedly needed by the IT department. Did you sign up for that coding course at the college? However, James Standard, my office, and my business cards must be removed by midday. I completed the company policy about positions that were terminated. Unlike you, though, I will keep the cards. One day, they might make a fascinating historical exhibit. Now our mother was crying. Running with mascara. How could you harm your brother like this, Elizabeth? Across the quiet auditorium, I answered, the same way you all did it to me, by believing that there is only one definition of success and excluding everybody who doesn't meet your specific standards. Announcements, business plans, and company vision dominated the following hour. I presented the Aurora Venture Plan for Meridian, highlighted important projects, and responded to inquiries from more enthusiastic staff members. My family watched their presumptions about achievement disintegrate in real time while they sat still in the front row. They were waiting outside my new office after the presentation. James was remodeling the corner office. This is embarrassing, James growled. I've already explained my role to others. Take it as a lesson in due diligence, I said, taking in the Seattle scenery. Be sure to find out who owns the business before you start terminating employees. Using his bargaining voice, our father took the lead. Of course, Princess, we can talk about this. Just as you helped me, I believe that families should support one another. I turned to them, and they made fun of my company, threw away my cards, and treated me like a failure because I had made a different decision. Mom begged us to try to keep you safe. No, you were attempting to manipulate me and make me conform to your idea of success. With the morning sun shining on my grandmother's jewelry, I took a seat behind my desk. However, no one's approval is necessary for true success. James tried one final time. The country club. My standing. You must give me another opportunity. No, I don't. I turn on my laptop. Here's my card, though, as you seem really interested in consulting right now. I moved one of my business cards from Aurora Ventures across the desk, but you might want to handle it with caution. They're pretty pricey. They were escorted out by security. I overheard James asking his father if his previous job at the Family Friends Company was still open as they were leaving. Meridian changed during the course of the following few weeks. Innovation blossomed in the absence of the previous hierarchy. Employee happiness skyrocketed. The announcement of Aurora Ventures' leadership caused a 30% increase in the stock price. The responses from my relatives were diverse. Mom made heartfelt pleas for family loyalty every day. Dad would alternate between making threats and making an effort to patch things up. James conducted covert interviews for entry-level jobs and shared ambiguous LinkedIn updates about looking into new prospects. I was invited to speak at the graduation ceremony of my former business school a month later. The subject is rethinking success and departing from conventional wisdom. I agreed, intending to utilize the crumpled business cards of my relatives as visual aids. My grandma, the only person who had ever believed in me, sent me a farewell text the morning of the speech. See the most recent stock price for Meridian. Well done, my love. Proving them incorrect isn't always the greatest form of retaliation. It's demonstrating your correctness in ways people can't ignore. From my office, which James had so briefly claimed, I could see a view of Seattle. I considered the various meanings of success. About business cards being discarded in silently constructed empires. About sisters who understood that actual power comes from owning the business and brothers who believed that job titles equated to authority. There was a solitary framed picture on my desk next to strategic plans and acquisition reports. The day my grandmother gave me my fortune. We were both grinning as if we had a secret, which we obviously had. Success and money weren't the only factors in the secret. It required perseverance, foresight, and the delightful joy of seeing people who misjudged you discover how mistaken they